Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS action. Today we're going to Division A, Magnitude Epicenter versus Crit Kickers. Now this should be a pretty good matchup. Now if you take a look at the standings, once that does work out, give it a moment. Soothsayer does have some issues with showing standings sometimes. But main points right now is going to be that Magnitude Epicenter currently sitting in third place with 9 points, while Crit Kickers are quite a bit further down, and they are sitting over at 4 points. But it is important to note that Crit Kickers did have a bye week, so they've only played 2 series, whereas Magnitude Epicenter have already played 3. So that point difference isn't necessarily as high as it may seem right now. Now, the map pick and bans have already come through. The coin toss was won by Magnitude Epicenter, and they decided to go with first pick. So the map bans, Crit Kickers banned Alterac Pass, was replied with Infernal Shrines. Tomb of the Spider Queen came third, and last was Brax's Holdout. Now, the final map, the one that has been selected by Crit Kickers, is that's the wrong one. Towers of Doom. There we go. That's the correct one. I said the wrong one, but I'll put it the correct one. Yes, it is going to be Towers of Doom, and it's a pretty fun map for me. It's one of my favorite maps to watch because there's a lot of options. I think I love maps where there's more variety to playstyle, and Towers of Doom definitely has a lot of variety, especially with different cheeses you can try, and I love cheese. And Raka, thank you for the compliment. The jersey does look quite nice. Now, I'm wondering if anyone knows how to get their own. Surely you couldn't just go on the nexusgamingseries.org website and find that out on there. So, I guess not. So I guess there's no other way for people to get their jerseys. It's definitely not on Etsy as well. But regardless, we are going to be getting into games soon. So this is going to be a pretty fun series for me to watch. I have been casting a little bit of Division A. I've cast one of Magnitude Epicenter's games this season, but this will be my first time casting Crit Kickers. I don't think I've actually ever seen any of these players play before, so this is going to be pretty new for me as well. But with their current scoreline, I don't think they're doing too poorly. They've won maps every single time they've played. They just haven't always been able to transition that into a series win. Now and then one other shout out I'd like to do real quick, and it's a shout out actually to all of you, the viewers for today's stream. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but as of last night, I have broken 500 followers on the Tokibi channel. This is a pretty big milestone for me. I never thought I'd be able to get all the way to 500. I still remember when I was excited about getting 100, but with NGS, like, all of the support I've gotten from all of you has absolutely shattered my expectations. Oops, one moment there, as per the ready check. So we should be getting into a game shortly, but thank you very much for all your support and all of you for watching and following these streams. So we have done the final ready check, so we should be heading into draft momentarily. Alright, and we are in Towers of Doom. Gonna be the first map of hopefully many today. At the very least 2, and at the very most 3. But I'm still gonna hope for 3. Although I say that, we have had some people try everyone's... Only this cast viewer is gonna think of that? I mean, they've been supporting everyone. I mean, huge thank you to Raka for helping me get set up as well. As I'm sure you know, like, Raka and Eternally Blue and really the entire NGS team has done wonders of keeping NGS going, having this whole league operational. And I gotta say, as someone who's part of a lot of different leagues for a lot of different games, NGS runs incredibly smoothly, and none of this could have happened without the wondrous support of all the staff for NGS, and again, especially Raka, for being the head caster and really making sure that all of these casts go smoothly. But now we are into the draft. Magnitude Epicenter are going to ban away the Maiev and the Chromie, and Crit Kickers are going to start banning away the Garrosh and the Stukov. And this is a pretty quick draft so far, as Oriole also gets locked in by Mac Daddio. Obviously a very powerful healer. Crystal Aegis so strong during team fights, able to get any one of their heroes out of a pinch. But yeah, now looking more at these current bans, it does seem like Magnitude Epicenter are targeting more into the flex, trying to get rid of the Maya of the playmaking, and Chromie as well can playmake quite well compared to a lot of the other mages. And as Icon's going to lock in Brightwing, and Infinity Meme going to lock in the Li Ming. Now Li Ming is going to be very powerful here if they're able to land all of the spells. And finally, it's going to be MDC locking the Dahaka and Delta Sniper locking in the Gul'dan. So lots of pretty interesting picks here. The Li Ming and Gul'dan definitely not a hardcore meta for this map or really in the game at all right now. Like, they're not bad, but they're definitely not meta. So it's interesting to see that they feel confident in their abilities to play on these heroes, and they want to see how much value they can get. But Dahaka getting picked up by MDC is going to be pretty big for Magnitude Epicenter. Obviously going to be able to double soak extremely well, and with that Brush Stalker is going to be able to join those team fights over in the bot lane pretty quickly and very effectively. But now Stitch is going to get banned away by Crit Kickers. No Hook is going to be available. No Gorge is going to be available. We're going to have a nice clean game this time around. And with the Vikings getting banned as well, going to be even more on top of that. Going to be a nice clean game. We're not going to have any of those Vikings running around the map. They say they're lost, and that's because they are simply everywhere at the exact same time. And I think it's important that they do ban away the Lost Vikings. It is one of the few heroes that's actually able to soak better than the Dahaka, assuming the microplay for those is going to be functional. But now the next two picks have come through. Zloth is going to lock in the Anubarak, and IE is going to lock in the Tychus. I also never knew we could actually have exclamation marks in usernames. I guess we learn something new every day. But Tychus is going to be able to deal quite a bit of damage to Dahaka, and obviously with the heroic abilities, should be extremely powerful at dealing with the front line, or even the back line, depending on whatever ends up being better. Both the Draken Laser Drill and the Commandeer Odin, very powerful abilities. As Varian's going to get locked in as the main tank for Magnitude Epicenter for Bones, and Greymane going to get locked in for Clownface. So they definitely want to burst out their first target, and now the Gul'dan makes quite a bit more sense. The Gul'dan has so much immediate damage with the Fell Flame, and then the Corruption's just going to make it so difficult to walk up to them. But now final pick and the counter is available for Crit Kickers, and it's going to be the Sonya for Godfred. Okay, the Sonya is interesting, because obviously this is a map where being able to double soak is pretty important for the offlane. Though with the Brightwing, they might have a little bit more leeway. But Sonya definitely loses in the wave clear to Dahaka. But in the 1v1, in the fighting, Sonya absolutely tears through Dahaka. And I think that's going to be the strategy going forward for Crit Kickers. But either way, the drafts are done. Both our teams are ready. So let's head in to game number 1. All right, and we are just finishing loading into the first game for Towers of Doom between Magnitude Epicenter and Crit Kickers. But looking at these two drafts, I think the Crit Kickers do have some interesting options here. So first of all, they picked Anubarak and Li Ming. Anubarak is one of the better counters to Li Ming, both by being a spell armor tank, having those little scarabs running around that can actually tank a lot of the abilities that Li Ming wants to throw, but also the Cocoon being a pretty easy way of engaging onto the Li Ming. It's going to be interesting to see how much value they're going to be able to get from that. And not too much mobility from Magnitude Epicenter either. So if they're able to land those skill shots, could get a lot of value out of it. But now both these teams going to start grouping towards mid, except MDC is going to be sneaking immediately off to that top lane. At least it seemed that way to start, but now MDC is going to be running maybe just from the top side towards middle. Both these two teams going to walk into the bottom brush, but Godfred's going to be able to get the first move in there. The Fell Flames not quite enough range to get that first little bit of poke down. And now with the overkill and with the Arcane Orb, I do suspect Crit Kickers will be able to get this first push, but now the drag not going to land Polymorph, but perfectly timed stasis. And that was really close coming in for Magnitude Epicenter. But that stasis dodged away everything. All the follow-up, that could have been really bad for them. But First Blood is not going to go down. But now they do have the engage onto Bones. And Phase Shift going to get used onto I just to heal them back up. And it is important to note that this is the Varian, not going to be able to do too much until level 4, just by the nature of the heroes. Godfred once again showing why Sonya does so well into Dahaka, as we do have a pause. Hopefully it's not going to be too long of a pause, but it has been tradition recently. Wait, that's hilarious. Apparently both the teams needed a pause at the same time because there was someone at the door. That is a crazy coincidence. Not going to lie. That's how does that even happen? But yeah, the start has been pretty even so far. No team has gotten an advantage, but the pacing has been pretty high. Zloth on the side of Crit Kickers has really been trying to force plays, trying to play super aggressive. They know they're stronger, at the very least until level 4, and they're going to try just abusing that. Now, one issue I am seeing right now is pre-level 10 Crit Kickers don't really have too much follow-up in terms of crowd control. Later on, once Godfred starts joining in on the fight, they're going to have the Ancient Spear. I assume it will be Leap. Most likely it will be Leap, and that's really going to give them that extra little bit of CC that they need. But again, on the side of Magnitude Epicenter, they also have that issue. They don't really have any lockdown. They have the Detainment Strike from the Oreo, and they have the Taunt from Bones. Does seem like it'll be a bit of a longer pause, so let's get some background music going. But yeah, once we get started into the game and once there's any updates, I will share it with you. Right now, both teams are just kind of chucking emotes at each other. It's actually a pretty good set of emotes, not gonna lie. But hopefully we can start getting back into this soon. But the map movements have been pretty interesting, and specifically Godfred fighting into MDC. Now, I know that there is a point where eventually MDC's Dahaka is not really going to care too much about the damage that Godfred's going to be able to bring out, just because the clear timers become so fast that Sonya doesn't have the time to really DPS Dahaka in any meaningful way before the wave is already cleared. And that's all that MDC really cares about, clearing the waves and then heading down over to the other lanes. But if there's any 1v1s, and I think later on in the team fights as well, Godfred's definitely going to be more powerful. Going to be able to bring out more damage, more lockdown. Isolation's nice, but it's no Leap. Yeah, I think that's all I can really say right now about the state of the game. It's only been about 58 seconds, but I'm liking the pacing. And I think that's the main thing I always look for in games like this, really in any esport that I'm casting. Seeing really good pacing coming out from the players, seeing that they're actually trying to win by like playing proactively rather than just waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. That's the kind of playstyle I think really brings in championships. Defensive playing will get you decently far in playoffs, but the skill cap for it is a lot lower, so the value you can get out of it is lower as well. But yeah, still no updates. I believe that the rules do have 10 minutes max for pause. Though, if both teams are okay with waiting longer, that's not a big deal either. And historically speaking, because I've been incredibly, I want to say, unlucky with pauses. This is my 5th, and I guess since it's Sunday, my 5th and final series this week. And I've had 4 decently long pauses out of those 5 series. Hopefully this one's not going to take too long, and we can get back into the action shortly. I will, however, take this time to enjoy a little bit of my tea. And if any of you have ever wondered how I get set up for these games, how I can yell the way I do, and a big part of that is setting up beforehand. I always have this big mug of tea, and if that's not enough, I have an entire teapot, minus 1 cup, at the ready as well. Make it fresh right before every cast. And if you're wondering what I'm doing during my breaks when I do a double cast, it's getting another pot. I drink way too much tea. Man, still both teams. Still at the door, apparently. Well, gonna be a fun little time. I guess now is as good a time as any to shout out our sponsor, 3 Peaks Tiki Solitaire. Now, it's been a pretty fun game. I've been playing it for, well, really since the start of the sponsorship, a week and a half now. I've been having a great time with it. Max level to hit for the goals down below, I believe. Oh, what direction would I point? I think it's to my left. Yeah, to my left. Is level 200, and I've greatly surpassed that very quickly. It's been a ton of fun, so definitely try it out. Download for free with the link in the chat. And even just completing the first level takes 2 minutes. Helps me out a lot as a streamer and as a caster. Yeah, still waiting on a couple of people. They allegedly have answered the door for a stranger, and now no one knows where they went. That is a little bit concerning, but hopefully everything's okay. As Godfred suggests, they will go and bail them out. And that's what good friends do. I guess I could just go down the talent list. I don't actually know the talents for too many. I know, so there's Pursuit of Flame, which increases radius. I believe that means it also increases range for Fel Flame. So it does seem like it's more of a Fel Flame rather than Corruption. I'm not sure if that's the default build. I don't play too much Gul'dan. Maybe one day I'll try learning him. I am slowly but surely learning different heroes and learning their different talent builds. Just takes me a while since, well, I don't have every hero even unlocked yet. I've played nothing but Vala and Falstad for like a year. I am one of those one tricks that doesn't actually understand the game. And Friends vs. Fiction, thank you very much for the follow. I normally don't shout them out during stream, but I figured we're in a pause anyway. Need to do something during this downtime. But yeah. Then typical Lion's Maw first. Increasing clarity. So it's actually going to be increasing damage for the Oriole. For the Sacred Sweep. But now, whenever you deal damage on Oriole, it actually also increases the amount of heals you can output. So it is one of those abilities that technically also helps with healing. So pretty interesting talent there. I should learn Oriole as well. I am currently in the process of learning healers. I've picked up a Whitemane and Brightwing. Obviously Brightwing just because it's a pretty simple healer mechanically speaking. So I could focus more on positioning, knowing when and where to use my tools, rather than focusing on the mechanics themselves. Whitemane, definitely a little bit harder for me to learn so far just because of the mana usage. It's crazy how fast you can lose all your mana if you're just non-stop healing, but at the same time, if you're balancing it correctly, you never run out of mana. So finding that middle ground is so difficult sometimes. Yeah, enhanced agility is still gonna be, well, the usual talent for Dahaka. Viciousness still gonna get picked up by the Greymane. Quarterback, Force Armor. Oh, actually, Force Armor is a pretty interesting talent. So now, it doesn't actually give any bonus damage. It doesn't give that free teleport. But what it does do is every single time magic missiles damages an enemy, they do get that spell armor. And that's pretty interesting to me because I don't believe that is the typical pick. I think that is typically something you go for when you're trying to play defensively, or if you want to spam abilities a lot, because it also increases the mana regen by 100% when below 35. But now they finally have come back, so we should be heading back into the game shortly. So thank you all for waiting. Gonna turn the music off now. Might be a little bit early, but we should be heading back in really at any minute now. And I'm excited. I've been wanting to play the game a little bit. You know how it is. First team has said they're ready, just waiting. Yep, we are starting. Okay, game number 1, and we're back. All right, so now both teams are going to be heading over to their own sapper camps. Going to try clearing those away. Neither side's really going to play aggressively here. I don't think neither one really has the tempo to play aggressively here. But Bone's going to try covering. Not going to end up walking in, but just making sure no one tries stealing it from them, as Godfred is going to be grouping into the mid lane. But there is a burrow charge into the back line. Add the impale on a Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy is starting to take a lot of damage. Will heal back up and will push their DPS away. But now Sloth might be the one in trouble. And phase shift last second will be able to get that extra heal, as both Mac Daddy and Sloth were in really bad spots there. And yeah, I forgot the pacing these two teams were playing. I managed to chill, relax. That's the issue with the music I have. Sometimes it relaxes too much. But these teams, they were not listening to it. They're still playing their hearts out. But now Burrow Charge once again goes in onto Bones. But now the taunt does come out for the extra HP, actually. The taunt will come through, and Sloth is going to be the first blood. And Magnitude Epicenter are able to get that kill. And that's actually such an interesting play, because they survived, Bones survived, because they managed to get that level 4 and got that taunt. Because that also increases the health by 40%. And I think that extra little bit of DPS that they would have had to do to get that kill wasn't there anymore. So dinging level 4 just perfectly saved them on that play. And Magnitude Epicenter, they were able to punish what ended up being a slight over-aggression. Now the first 3 altars are going to be spawning, and it's also important to note that the sapper camp did crash over the bot lane. So even with that first blood, the XP lead isn't that big. They weren't able to get too much out of it. And now the rest of the side of Crit Kickers, they're also going to be able to shove in mid and also take control of it, which is going to make it a lot more difficult for the side of Magnitude Epicenter to play into it. Both teams level 6. Bone's going to get the taunt, but it's onto Sloth. But the Detainment Strike does land onto Icon, and that is the target you want to take down. Brightwing not going to be able to survive for too long. And it should be 2-1 in terms of these objectives. Yep, 2 altars going to be getting thrown the way of Crit Kickers. So it's going to be 36-32 on the core. Very good pickoff and very good target selection coming in from Magnitude Epicenter. They were able to pick off Icon. And with that, they're also going to be able to get the first move in the bot side. They don't really have too good siege potential right now. Siege camp is going to be spawning in 10 seconds though, so that might be the play they're looking to do instead. Sloth is walking forward. Do they check the bush? Sloth looking for it. They have the taunt on to the Anu bracket. The Detainment Strike, and even with the Burrow Charge getting unstoppable, it doesn't matter if you can't use it. But now Delta Sniper gonna get taken down decently low. Magic Missiles, if that hit, that actually would have been able to get the kill. But that's going to be a successful steal coming out from Magnitude Epicenter. Gonna get themselves another kill, and Infinity Meme gonna get taunted, but no follow-up is available. But the Sapper Camp is gonna come through, and the top cannon tower is gonna go down, and the gate's gonna be at basically no HP left. And now the XP lead's really starting to grow. They're at about half a level, gonna get a bit more once they finish off their siege camp as well. As Godfred and MDC just doing offlane things, just gonna be trading a little bit back and forth. Godfred, once again, should typically win these trades in terms of DPS, but does get hard to win in terms of the lane push and the soak. And now next altar is going to be spawning in 20 seconds as this bottom counter tower actually gets taken down quite low. And Magnitude Epicenter are set up, and with the Corruption and Fellflame, they're going to be able to push out really quickly. And with Crit Kickers not here, this Sapper Camp should land as well. And all three going to land onto the tower. But now they have the Impale onto Mac Daddy. Godfred trying to jump on, but the Detainment Strike going to prevent it. Godfred still going to be able to go in onto Clownface, but not going to have any follow-up. The drag not going to land, as Bones is going to get started on the channel. And no one is there from Crit Kickers to prevent this, but they are looking for the fight. They have the Polymorph and the Impale. Delta Sniper going to go down, but the taunt onto I not going to have enough follow-up, not going to have enough damage. Can they get more? They still have positioning. They have the numbers advantage, but with no more crowd control off cooldown, Crit Kickers going to take 4 damage onto their core, but they will be able to get a kill back and help bring this XP lead just a little bit closer. Now they've already moved over to the mid lane, looking to potentially cash out MDC, already using stasis, and with the bro charge is gonna get stunned up. And they're just trying to buy time so they do have the first move here. MDC will still be able to soak it up, but because of that, Godfred's gonna have a free push over on the top side. Now Bones, they're pinging that they're likely in there. And now they're jumping onto MacDaddio, and MacDaddio is gonna get low, is healing back up with the taunt in time, but Eyes overkill's more than enough. Now the Horrify has been burned by Delta Sniper. Level 10s now on both sides. So it is a 1-for-1. But again, with Crit Kickers having the initial move, I think that does favor them a little bit more, though they do lose their main source of engagement. Now Godfred is going to get taunted. Godfred looking towards Cloudface and will use the leap, and one more hit will be able to finish them off. That was the fight the Magnitude Epicenter wanted, but Crit Kickers are the ones that are able to deliver. So the XP lead is entirely even. The levels are basically the same. Magnitude Epicenter still has a little bit of their lead, but it's nowhere near as large as it was earlier on. And with that, they're going to be able to grab their own siege camp. And because the two teams took their siege camps at different times, they could even look to invade onto this. But it looks like they are a little bit worried to start. Leap is not going to be up for this team fight, but neither is Horrify unless they get later on into the game. Godfred is going to scout out Bones in the brush, as Icon's going to be trying to get it. The corruption is going to prevent the fight, but now Odin immediately going to get popped, and they're just going to start pushing it, and they do not land the Breath Stalker, and that's going to be the first kill of the fight, going over towards Crit Kickers. Clownface getting taken down quite low in the backline, but does have the healing coming through. The corruption dealing so much damage, and the drag, they're going to finish off Phase Shift not going to be out in time, and that's going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. Now, they will at least be able to finish off this bottom cannon tower, so this entire wall is empty, besides this little gate. That's going to be another 4 damage going the way of Magnitude Epicenter. 32-24, and they'll be able to take their siege camp here. Now, Godfrey and MDC trading once again in the top side, and the drag will land, but all that drag really does is it slows down the push potential coming out of Godfrey. Now the push is still happening over the bot side. The Sapper Camp gonna start walking up, but they should have the positioning to clear it. Now, if they're able to walk forward, yeah, they're just gonna be able to clear this out with the extra grenade. Should be simple for them. Well, these Sappers aren't gonna land, but they do have the taunt onto Eye. The Bro Charge not gonna land, but the Disintegrate just dealing damage over on the backline, trying to prevent any further follow-up. But level 13 talent advantage is now up for Magnitude Epicenter. They're gonna have that extra little bit of DPS, extra little bit of utility, but now MacDaddio gonna be getting hit, and with the Bro Charge not gonna land in time, but MacDaddio is polymorph for the curse, bullet on his Sloth. That's the real damage, but is gonna get healed up in time. Down to double-digit HP. Sloth was so low, but barely not enough damage there. And unfortunately for Crit Kickers, they had the cocoon, but they slightly mistimed the crowd control onto it. Level 13's now going to get hit, so even talents coming out from both these two teams. And now the pings are coming through. It's just going to be the one altar on the bot side, and Godfred actually has a very good position here. If they have the view, Leap is definitely in range, and Godfred will jump onto the backside. They've managed to get onto Delta Sniper. Delta Sniper is currently in the Crystal Aegis, but MacDaddio is going to get spinned upon, and Godfred will be able to take it down. Will get traded back, but you will take that for the healer. And now it's a 2-for-1 so far, but MDC still trying to fight, has the drag onto Icon. Icon trying to get into a safe spot, and with the extra crowd control coming out from Sloth, they will be able to move forward. Now, looking for the play, and the Disintegrate not going to have enough damage to take down Bones, and that's going to be a 1 team fight for Crit Kickers, and an extra 4 damage onto the core. It's 28-24 now, so the game slowly but surely starting to even out. And the DPS that they're able to bring out in team fights, both these teams are kind of playing a similar style of just trying to land crowd control onto one member and just burst them down. Now, it is difficult for both these two teams because Phase Shift is a very powerful healing tool. They will have the Soothing Mist as well just to get that AoE dispel. It's so difficult to have that taunt have max value. But at the same time, MacDaddio has Crystal Aegis, so trying to invade onto them also very difficult. But the main advantage that Crit Kickers does have for that is they do have the AoE. And I think that's kind of where they've been trying to play, especially with the leap coming out from Godfred. And Godfred, once again, has very good positioning. They're looking towards Bones, but just going to get a little bit of damage. And the invade does begin. Level 16 still not there for Magnitude Epicenter, and Godfred's not soaking at all. So this could be a fight they're trying to grab. And Magnitude Epicenter, they definitely seem a little bit worried to walk forward, but now Delta Sniper is going to be here. The leap onto the backline. All 5 members as Mac Daniel will get out into Crystal Age, so they're able to take down the DPS onto the front line. And now Clownface, 64 HP. Godfred not going to be able to land the DPS. Now Icon Infinity Beam trying to run. Godfred jumps onto Delta Sniper, but it is just going to be the 1 for 2 so far. It's Godfred is jumping around, but the isolation lands onto Icon, and they're going to be able to get that extra kill. 3 for 1 for Magnitude Epicenter. They get the camp, and to top it all off, they should be able to push this camp in. But actually, no, never mind. With Infinity Beam standing here, we'll be able to clear it away. But there's going to be 3 altars spawning, and I don't think Crit Kickers can contest any one of them. Godfred is going to be looking towards it, but Bones is going to be here just preventing this play. Looking for that Lion's Fang just to stop that from coming through. Now, the rest of the roster is coming through, but they are low HP. They don't have their healer quite yet. Magdadio isn't available. Leap is back up now. So this could be a difficult team fight if Crit Kickers do want to go for it. But they're just going to be pushing in the mid lane instead. Infinity Beam going to get healed back up with the phase shift and with the teleport. Won't be in a bad spot. Impale not going to land, but it looks like they're just going to give it up. They're going to let I get that 4 damage back. But it's still an advantage for Magnitude Epicenter. They got the 8 damage. They got the push on the bot side, and they forced Crit Kickers to bring so many of their heroes up to the top lane. So they're going to get at least a little bit of free damage onto this fort. So now it is level 17 to 16. About a full level lead for Magnitude Epicenter, but no talent lead yet. And in fact, the siege camp going to get taken by Godfred over in the top side. And that's pretty rare. Typically you see the Dahaka able to win out there just because of the pacing with a double. But now Impale's going to get thrown out. The camp will get stolen as well. Godfred is already roaming down. And you can see the strategy that Crit Kickers are doing. Godfred, as soon as they push out the top side, they run straight into bot lane. They kind of skip through mid and look for the play, for the pacing play. And it's definitely come out on top for them in a couple of situations, though they definitely do lose soak every time they do attempt it. Now with the Fel Flame, they're going to be able to clear out this wave very easily, very quickly. But now they do have the Brush Stalker in the backline. MDC gonna get poked down to about a 3rd HP. Will still be alive, but they have the taunt, and it's going to be onto Infinity Beam. Horrify in the backline. But now the fight's really starting to break through. Odin has been popped as well, and they have the cocoon, but it is going to be on Bones. Going to be very hard to follow up on that, as both these two teams have been slowly fighting. Godfred looking for the backline. Will be able to get onto Magdadio, and they will take down the healer. And now with that, they're still looking towards Bones. Bones going to get finished off as well with the Ancient Spear lockdown. And that's going to be a 2-for-0 as 2 more altars spawn. And if Crit Kickers are able to get both, they can even out the game. If they're able to take down this bell tower and get both of those altars, they could take the lead. And Godfred will be here first and will be able to take down the first one. Yes, just barely. Now MTC wants to try fighting, but I believe with Godfred dodging out the drag will be okay. And this bottom bell tower is getting hit pretty hard. But MDC looking to try to get the other one. But Godfred is right here. And with Icon, this should be a pretty easy fight to win. Godfred looking for the play, but doesn't have leap. Already used Ancient Spear. And now that's going to be 5 damage. So just by 1 health, Crit Kickers have taken the lead. And they have the lead in terms of the levels. Only a quarter level, so it's not too much. And until level 20, it's not going to matter. But it just goes to show how they've been able to bring the game back. And now the siege camp has respawned, as both teams are looking towards it. And they do have the fort here for Crit Kickers, as Godfred is starting to come in from the side. Is at the very least considering it. But with the banner, they're not going to be able to make that play happen. Very well placed by Bones. Actually prevented that play just by using 1 simple vision ability off to the side. But now they're sending all 5 of their members mid. So this is actually going to be a little bit of a reversal in positioning. But Zloth is already in position in the brush. We'll be able to see all of this happening. Just a little bit of poke going to get thrown out by the corruption. But that's still going to be the Sapper camp going the way of Crit Kickers. And now they can even go back and grab their own. Infinity Meme with Icon should be able to finish this off pretty quickly. Especially now that they have those 5 missiles instead of the 3. Now, whether or not they'll be able to land any of these for permanent damage will remain to be seen. But now the phase shift is just going to get used as a repositioning tool for Icon. Was all the way back at that camp. And with no mount, does take quite a bit to get into the game. But now they have the stun. And with the impale, and oh my god, Infinity Meme able to get a massive kill. And now they're still jumping in. Got one, got two. And now with MacDaddy, we'll be able to get the heal. So it's just going to be the 2-for-0. And I say just, but that's a massive pickoff to get. And once again, it's right before everything respawns. And 1, 2, 3 Sapper camps gonna go in. That's gonna be an extra 3 damage. This could actually be game here if Crit Kickers can get both altars. But nope, MDC is in position. Will be able to take one back. But either way, they're gonna be down to 7 HP as Godfred will be able to take this. And with the boss, they're going to get taken all the way down to 3 health. Crit Kickers, they just need one more fight. They just need one more altar, and they will be able to win game number 1. But level 20 now been hit by both these teams. Can Magnitude Epicenter start winning these fights now? And they are looking to go onto this bottom bell tower, but now it's getting traded back. Crit Kickers, they're going to push mid. They have the tempo, and they're going to utilize it. They know they're strong. They know they can push faster. And that last magic missile, not even needed. Now, I'm wondering what their play is going to be after. It does seem like they're going to split right back to the 1-4. And with the next altar being over the bot lane, it would make sense if Crit Kickers wanted to try and push bottom back in and try to retake this bottom bell tower. They do have the damage. They do have the range for it. But now with the siege camp spawning in 40 seconds, they don't need to walk up. But Bones looking for the play. Sees Infinity Meme. But the Impale going to cancel it just in time. That play could have been very big. And now Delta Sniper could be in a bad spot. And if that Arcane Orb landed, I think that would have been, at the very least, the Crystal Aegis coming out of MacDaddy. As now all of the teams are here. They do pull in the tank. And with the Horrify, they're able to one-shot the Anubarak. And now Icon is in a bad spot, but will blink heal away. But now Godfred dealing damage in the backline. And they're able to take down the healer. So it's 1-for-1 so far. Godfred still spinning and winning in the middle of everyone. Got to get hit by the drag. And under the bell tower. But Godfred should be okay. Still has positioning. As Bones gets one shot. And Infinity Meme. Look at the damage. And with Infinity Meme and I just auto-attacking all over that. That should be it. MDC and Clownface, they need to try, but I don't see how they can approach this safely. I don't see how they can interrupt this, as game number 1 will be going the way of Crit Kickers. Massive comeback and really well played. And an excellent way to start this series. They picked the map, they played it, and they won it. Crit Kickers knew exactly what they wanted to do. They were able to bring it out, and I gotta say, look at the DPS charts, and that really shows what the play was. Infinity Meme had so many big one-shot plays at the end of that game. I obviously just constantly doing DPS throughout the entire Tychus, not as flashy in terms of the DPS, but the numbers don't lie. The DPS was there. And, I mean, Icon, Sloth did their roles, and Godfred had so many insane flanks. Magnitude Epicenter definitely looked good for a good chunk of the game, and they maintained the lead for most of the game. But it was just a little bit at the end. Godfred was able to get a couple good flanks, and Crit Kickers would be able to take game number 1. Now, we're going to go to a short little break, but when we come back, we will have at least one more game between these two teams. So don't go anywhere. All right, and welcome back, everyone, for game number 2 between Magnitude, Epicenter, and Crit Kickers. Now, we are going to Volskaya Foundry, sponsored by Volskaya Industries. But now it is 1-0 for Crit Kickers, and this time around, it was also picked by Crit Kickers. Magnitude Epicenter, once again, wanted that first pick. Though the draft so far... Well, so far, I'd say it's only been the one ban, but the Maiev has been banned, and it is the same as it's always been. But I'm wondering if this map is going to change things quite a bit. I mean, Tychus is still strong. I think Dahaka isn't quite as powerful. Not too many brushes over at in this map, nor is there too much of a reason to stay in one specific area. But Stitcher is actually going to get banned away during the first phase by Crit Kickers. And Magnitude Epicenter, with the respect ban, gonna toss in the Li Ming. Chromie's still gonna get banned away by Crit Kickers. So pretty interesting adaptation from both these two teams. Now, only one of the bans is new, but the order and the team that banned it away is pretty different. I believe Chromie was banned away by Magnitude Epicenter last time, and the Stitches was banned away in the second ban phase, not the first. The Crit Kickers are just worried about, not exactly a cheese play, but they are worried about that Stitches strategy. But because of that, Oriole still available. Mac Daddy are going to instantly lock that in. And Oriole is super powerful as a healer, but the reason it didn't work last game, at least partially, is because Infinity Meme was just one-hitting everyone. You can't heal someone who goes from 100 to 0. But now with the Li Ming getting banned away, I don't believe there's any hero that can one-shot quite to that extent just on their own. So Oriole should have a lot more value this time around. But Leoric and Brightwing gonna get locked in for Crit Kickers. So no Sonya this time around. We're gonna see a new offlaner. And with the Entomb, that will still have a pretty strong teamfight presence. We'll still have that big engage tool. But now the Garrosh is still available, so Bones gonna lock that in immediately. And Tychus locked in for Clownface. So definitely a bit of a different draft coming in from Magnitude Epicenter. They started similar with the Oriole, but they have adjusted as the draft has gone on. Now they still need an offlaner. Now I don't think Dehaka is actually worth a ban for Volskaya, so I'm wondering if they even want to go for that or instead want to remove another flex. And they are going to remove the flex. They're going to remove the Tassadar. And I don't know too much about Magnitude Epicenter. Actually, no, I do know. Delta Sniper plays a lot of Tassadar, so I take that all back. I can see why they got rid of that. I've seen Delta Sniper with the Shockwave build just absolutely trash teams, so makes sense why that's going to get removed. I respect Crit Kickers for that. I had to take a little bit of time just to remember all those different strategies. Now for Magnitude Epicenter, the Zul'jin is going to be the next ban. Interesting. So they are worried about that consistent auto attacker. Now, I've been doing a pretty new strategy. I don't think it's any good for competitive especially. But whenever I'm into a Garrosh, I do the auto attack Cassia build. Because at level 20, you completely ignore armor. So Garrosh just becomes a little squishy that's trying to walk forward to you. You're pretty useless until level 13 to 16, so it's pretty common where you just get run over. But once you hit that level 20, it's so much fun. Totally worth it. That I gonna lock in the Falstad and Zloth gonna lock in the Johanna. So they have quite a bit of cross-map plays available with the Falstad and the Brightwing as Chen locked in for MDC. Should be a pretty fun one. I believe Chen does win the 1v1 into the Leoric, just able to chug from the keg between combos, and Leoric just can't really deal with it. And Nazebo gonna get locked in for Delta Sniper. So that's going to be a decent bit of scaling coming in from Magnitude Epicenter. Tychus obviously scales extremely well. Nazebo infinitely scales, at least in terms of frontline. But the DPS that Nazebo throws out in the late games, nothing to be scoffed at. In proper scenarios, actually can also one-shot squishies. It'll be a bit harder since Falstad does have the barrel roll. Pretty much everyone on their team currently is either able to tank it or escape. But Gul'dan could be a good target. Infinity Meme gonna lock that in. And that's going to be the 10th and final pick for this game. Should be a pretty close draft, and I'm really excited specifically to see MDC play the Chen. I don't know why, but it's always been fun. But now with that, before we head into game number 2, quick shout out to our sponsor, Tiki Solitaire Tri-Peaks! Exclamation 3 peaks in the chat, or click the panel down below, or the link in the chat that I'll be posting. And if you don't know what it is, well, you're about to. All right, welcome back, and we are in for game number 2 between Magnitude Epicenter and Crit Kickers. We are on Volskaya Boundary. Should be a pretty fun one. We have pretty interesting builds, and already we're seeing it is the frequent flyer build coming out from one of the few heroes you do see with multiple selections, and immediately we go into the pause. Wouldn't be a game of NGS this week without a lot of pauses. I don't know what's up with my luck this time around, but there's been quite a few. And allegedly it is, unironically, someone else's door. Let me get some music back on so we have some nice backgrounds going. But yeah, third knock on the door. I don't... Everyone's so social today. I don't like it when people are social. Nah, not for me. That's why I yell at my screen. It's just a lot easier. Yeah, everyone's just having a blast, making fun of each other now. Such is how NGS and gamers in general are. But either way, it is the frequent flyer talent, which I think is pretty interesting because it's gonna have to stack up. Typically, you want to be in at least 2 waves, but it does seem like at least one of the teams is ready. Now, so we're just waiting on one last player to be ready. And yep, we should be heading back in. All right, there we go. And luckily this time it was before the game truly started. Let us get that zoom out towards mid as both teams are going to start running forward and going to start seeing what kind of plays they could create here. But I'm not going to be too much early. Neither side has as good poke as they did in the previous game. Gul'dan can use the corruption for some extent, but it will be the flame talent once again, just trying to get the larger radius. And just a little bit of trading back and forth, but Magnitude Epicenter definitely getting the slight win out of this trade, but is just stacking up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this late game does go. Gul'dan obviously super powerful in the late game. And then it's really just going to be between DPS versus tankiness of the backline. Delta Sniper obviously going to have a lot of HP as they head later and later into the game. But in terms of raw damage, I is definitely going to be able to outscale that. But now Bones looking for the Groundbreaker, not going to be able to get the Wrecking Ball. And actually getting taken down quite low is going to get the Wrecking Ball onto a minion. And I's just running them down, trying to get as much DPS as possible. I'm stacking up a little bit already. 20 stacks for the Spider Jar for Delta Sniper. And that's going to be able to give a lot of damage. That's where the real scaling does come from in terms of DPS, just getting those stacked up early. But now the trades are starting to get pretty severe. But MacDaddio has enough HP, and Zloth also taking down Loba with a phase shift. And with a little bit of those passive pulse heals from Icon, should be okay as Flight gonna get utilized just to take the fortification camp. Now, I is going to solo it, and I'm wondering if I even can solo it, but Icon is here to help. So they will be okay. And now the Clownface also going to start soloing it. Bones is going to come back just to help a little bit with the Groundbreaker. And with just helping tank it up, should be fine. The Delta Sniper going to use the last bit of their mana to take down the siege camp over in this top side. We'll probably just need one more rotation of abilities, and that siege camp will go down. So slight advantage in terms of pacing right now for Magnitude Epicenter. Delta Sniper, I do worry that they are a bit low on mana walking forward, but with these orbs, should be able to reset at least slightly. Now siege camp also gonna get picked up by crit kickers. Icon Infinity Meme easily able to clear this away. But now we are gonna be evened out a little bit, but the XP lead overall slightly in favor of crit kickers. But nothing to mention. Just a little bit of waves going back and forth. We'll be able to even that out. But now Bones could be looking for the play. But we'll get Polymorph just where the Groundbreaker lands onto Icon. And they're looking to throw Icon to the back. And they're able to do it. And with the Condemn, they're able to slow it down. And the Zombie Wall not going to be there. But the grenade will. And that's going to be first blood going once again to Magnitude Epicenter. But now Godfred looking towards Bones. Clownface taking out quite low. But with the Into the Fray will be saved by Bones. We'll have to burn the well. We'll have to tap into that. But that's still going to be a pretty solid play for them. They got the kill, and now they're going to send 3 members to the top side just to start sieging with the siege camp. Going to get hit by the grenade, but not too worried. Detainment strike going to get used just to buy a little bit of time. And Zoth is making sure to watch their angles, making sure that no one else can walk in and get any kind of play done on them. They're okay trading a little bit of health back and forth because they know Icon's healing will be more than enough, and they'll be able to take down these structures. Now, Bones trying to walk forward, but with Sloth in the way, it's so hard to walk in. It basically immediately splits the fight, but Sloth is going to get thrown to the background, and now they do have the turret thrown. And Magnitude Epicenter, at the very least, they were able to get them to burn that. I think it's less that they forced it out, and more that they thought that they had the DPS to kill Bones. But either way, slight advantage for Magnitude Epicenter, but Bones did have the well, so we'll be okay. Now both teams, all 10 members, contesting on to this point, looking for the Groundbreaker, and both will be able to throw them into the backline, but it is Sloth, has the Iron Skin, has the phase shift, and they will be okay for now. The Fel Flame just dealing so much damage. The second turret is going to be gone. MDC jumping onto the backline, and will try to knock them up as Bones gets hit by the Fel Flame once again. And Godfred looking for Bones. Bones is going to be pretty low. Do they have enough healing for McDaddy? For MDC, they definitely don't. But Bones will be okay. So it's a 1-0, and Crit Kickers will be able to take advantage of this area. But now the next fortification camp is back up. Eyes already here with Infinity, Meme with Icon. Should be able to just take this pretty easily together. That's going to be an extra turret going their way. And the XP lead starting to grow a little bit for Crit Kickers at about half a level right now. Maybe slightly more even. And Infinity Meme will get healed back up by the phase shift. And the little healing orb as well. And the tap makes Crit Kickers in a good position for this. But now it is contested, but it's still going to be 90%. Now the fall stat is over the top side, just getting stacks right now. Overtime is going to come through. Bones looking for the aggressive play, but Groundbreaker only going to land on his Sloth, and that's not the target you want, as they have shown in the last fight. But level 10 starting to get pretty close for Crit Kickers, so they could look to grab that. Polymorph just poking down Bones, forcing them underneath the cannon tower. And now they do have to send members to the top side. Has level 10, has 15 stacks, and this fall stat slowly but surely turning pretty scary, and Bones is going to get hit with the Entomb. Going to throw Godfred away, but doesn't matter. Will get picked off. That's going to be a kill for Crit Kickers and the Protector in their hands as they push in with this level 10. Now they're going to turn off one of these cannon towers, and by turn off, I mean blow up, because that works too. It's disabled, isn't it? And now they're going to finish off this mid lane wall. And it doesn't seem like they want to push for the fourth. It looks like they care more about getting multiple walls finished off in their entirety. Sloth once again just trying to make sure no one can really walk up. And this wall should get finished off pretty easily as well. The Protector is incredibly powerful if you're able to get into it. But now Sloth actually getting tossed into the back with the Detainment Strike is going to be more than enough damage. So good pickoff coming out from Magnitude Epicenter. And interestingly enough, it is the Ravenous Spirit coming through for Delta Sniper. Godfred is going to get poked down a little bit by Clownface with the overkill. But I believe that is going to be the end of that play. The Protector only has 5 more seconds. Just going to spin in place for a little bit, throw down maybe another set of that little poke just to clear away the wave, but that'll be it. Not bad for them. They're still less than a full level lead away, but they did take down the mid lane wall and the top lane wall. No real damage to forts, but I think because they got that Protector so early on, I don't think they really expected to get too much damage either. Now they're going to grab away their siege camp, and I was saying before they were a bit behind on the pace. Magnitude Epicenter have been able to take it faster, but this time around they're the first ones to get it. Now it's going to be answered very quickly by Magnitude Epicenter, but still something to note. Now they have a little push in the mid lane, but with all these members of Magnitude Epicenter, they're just going to be able to push the wave back. And now the Biotic Emitter has been attacked. Now both teams could look to fight for it. They are on even talent, so this is a fight Magnitude Epicenter could go, but they have the Entomb. They have Bagdadio stuck in the backline, and they're looking to fight. And with the Horrify, they're able to pull Bones away. Now Godfred is going to get traded back, but they do have the healing beacon, the Biotic Emitter over in the backline. And Sloth just trying to DPS onto the front line. Is just trying to hit onto all of those different little Chens, and Icon able to blink heal away just in time, and the second time as well, and Icon 10 HP able to back away, just barely enough stats. And a lot of trading still happening. Godfred actually respawned and will be able to take down the main healer. Now looking for Clownface, will have this little barrel roll as well. One more auto, will get that. Now Delta Sniper getting jumped on by Sloth as well. And the Biotic Emitter has been tossed down, but it does seem like that play is over, but huge win right now for Crit Kickers. But Godfred also going to get thrown to the back line, taunt as well. But Zloth doesn't care. Zloth has the Iron Skin. They have the wave, they have the play, and they're going to start looking towards this mid lane fort, and this should be theirs. A couple more autos, and that'll be all she wrote. Crit Kickers able to get a pretty solid team fight, and they're also able to get that mid lane fort for the real noticeable advantage. And I gotta say, Bones really tried to snag the Bionic emitter for Magnitude Epicenter, but Infinity Meme with the Horrify was able to push them off of the play and just prevent them from getting any kind of value at all. Now Godfred and Infinity Meme just immediately going onto these structures. Huge damage. None of these cannon towers are going to go down, so no XP is actually gained. But that's still going to be a lot of extra pressure, a lot of sitting XP that they can get pretty quickly if they ever have first move over in the bot lane again. And we were talking about the stacks. 131 for Delta Sniper, which is decent, but 28 for Eye. Eye's getting pretty strong. Blessed Shield has been thrown out, and now they do have the Gust just to disengage the fight. So it's going to be 2 heroics used by Crit Kickers. Nothing burned by Magnitude Epicenter. And with the next point spawning could be an issue, but no one's going to go for the point. They have Odin. They're going to look towards this mid lane wall. And Zloth is stuck in the zombie wall, but will get cleared out. And the Ravenous Spirit just getting thrown out into the backline for the extra poke, for the extra siege. And now Zloth going to get thrown back in. Has the Iron Skin. Horrify will be okay, and actually the Horrify is going to be able to take down Bones, and with the turret, they're looking for a play. Godfred still has the Entomb. Who are they going to aim for? With the Detainment Strike, not going to be able to get the play, or will they? Godfred still looking for it, and will be able to get onto Delta Sniper. Crystal Aegis is going to come through, but they still should have more than enough damage. Delta Sniper is going to go down, and that's going to be a 2-0 for Crit Kickers on the return play. And again, 31 stacks now on Frequent Flyer for 10 minutes. That's insane. This fall stat is so powerful. Just been doing a great job soaking up all these minions, getting all these stacks, and has been part of so many fights. And those fights each give half a level per kill, or half a damage per kill onto an enemy hero. And now the siege camp is finished off by Clownface. Magnitude Epicenter will at least be able to secure their own camps, but they will have to give away pressure once again onto this Biotic emitter. So Crit Kickers will have this as well in their next team fight. And it's going to get picked up by Icon. The Brightwing is the one in charge of healing. Should be the Brightwing getting it. Infinity Meme also going to rotate down to grab the siege camp. Fortification camp secured by Magnitude Epicenter, as both teams are just kind of doing their chores. Once everything respawns, gotta go grab it, else you fall behind. And level 16 still not hit by Magnitude Epicenter, and that should be their next target. It's definitely difficult for them to play super aggressively. They could look for a pickoff. They do have Bones. And now Godfred will be able to spot Bones out, so they did walk past each other in the brush. Neither one really wants to engage on the other. But I is already in this top side, should be able to get this Protector. And with the top fort and the mid fort gone, I'm wondering what the play is going to be. Now, I could try to just play this out by going towards this bot lane, but not going into the Protector quite yet. Wants to get this push first, wants to make sure to grab these stacks first. And so, but the timer is still ticking, so 1 minute is remaining. Are they going to walk all the way to the bot side, or are they just going to try and get the push over in this mid and top and just use this for pressure? And it seems what the answer is, they're going to use the Protector for pressure over towards the top and mid by pushing out the waves, and then send their force squad down to the bot side and just start pushing in. If they bring too many members here, this Protector could just walk straight through mid, could walk straight through any other lane as well. But they will be meeting each other over in this bot lane. Protector not falling too much onto these conveyors, but obviously the Protector will ignore them. 30 seconds left. They could definitely still look to take down this fort, and probably don't even need to play that safe. They have a lot of HP. Bone's going to get smacked into the fort. They're looking for the play on Zloth, and Zloth is going to get pushed back, but the Protector's the one that is tanking right now. Now Bones is in the backline, could be looking for the play, but both DPSs are inside the Protector. The Blessed Shield got to get pulled. Same with the Condemn, and they're actually still fighting pretty hard, but able to push them through the gate, and the damage on the Clownface, almost able to get that kill. And that's going to be another turret forced away, as Bones still at half HP. Protector is going to blow up. They were trying to push Bones back into the backline, but not going to work. But they finally have all 3 forts. They have the advantage. Is even going to fly up to the top side just to join up with Godfred. Now, Fortification Camp is available. Nothing else on the map. So Crit Kicker's just going to go back and claim this. They don't have the level 20s yet. This should get them to level 19 as they have a level and a half lead over Magnitude Epicenter. So, but that also means right now they're on even talent tiers. They have a bit of extra stats, 2 level worth of stats. But do they want a team fight knowing that they is a pretty even state? But now Bones is going to go unstoppable. Going to throw them back and with the gust into the wall and the Horrify. They're just going to burn all their heroics to take that one tank out. Now the Primal Split is going to get used by MDC. Is the Primal Split? Storm, Earth, Fire. Sorry, that's from Dota. Storm, Earth, and Fire going to get burned by MDC. And they're going to start looking towards this siege camp to steal this away. And they're very close to level 20. And I think part of this siege, they will get that level 20. One more wave is all they need, or just wait a little bit passively. And there they go. They have the Storm talents, and they're looking towards this wall. Fellflame able to DPS so hard onto these already at 40 stacks. Delta Sniper's at 182, and with all these Spider Jar talents, does have a ton of DPS. But there's only so much they can do when is able to just DPS so hard onto these structures. But now Entomb not going to get committed there by Godfred. They've already taken down this top lane keep. And they're slowly but surely pressuring forward. They're able to get these structures. And they still have a decent amount of time where they're going to have that talent advantage. Still no level 19 even from Magnitude Epicenter. As Crit Kickers, they're looking to get that domination. But they're going to walk back. They're going to get this Biotic Emitter. They just want to make sure they're completely ready for this next fight. But with a double Biotic Emitter, it will definitely be difficult for Magnitude Epicenter to fight unless they're able to just one hit onto someone. But the Spider's doing so much damage to Infinity Meme. But with the healing from Icon, with the healing that Infinity Meme's able to bring out for themselves, should be okay. Bones is alone defending onto this as Godfred starts roaming down towards the bot side. But with the range from the Fellflame, they should be able to clear this out very quickly. And the Corruption as well. Top cannon tower already going down, now aiming towards the bot side. And once they're able to take down the gate, they should have an easier time. They're going to have vision of Magnitude Epicenter now. They are a little bit stuck waiting for the next wave, but actually never mind. With this range, they're not having any issues at all. One more Fellflame, one more auto from and that's all they needed. Now level 20 still not there from Magnitude Epicenter. They are pushing out their side lanes. They are trying to collect what they can, but they don't have any forts. They don't have any of that passive XP waiting for them. As Infinity Meme gonna burn down the siege camp, gonna get a little bit of extra push on the top side. Fortification camp also gonna get secured by Crit Kickers, as pretty much every single one of their players has that active item now. Zloth is alone here on the bot side without it. So they're going to have to get Zloth or Infinity Meme that turret. But now level 20 has been hit, so Magnitude Epicenter could look for a fight, but now they're on even talents, but they're down so many of these abilities. But MDC looking forward. The turret has been placed already. And the Iron Skin as well, but nothing further has been committed. The turret is just dealing a little bit of damage on the backside, but Godfred has a good flank, going to get the Entomb with the silence, and now MacDaddio is stuck in with the Horrify and the Windwall. Bones still going to get pushed into the backside with a double Biotic Emitter. Look at that healing coming through. They just can't damage onto them. But now one of the Biotic Emitters is going to go down. Bones is still getting taken low, but the healing is coming through from both these sides, and Bones finally will get finished off, but Godfrey got a one-shot. MacDaddio, MDC trying to run away, but will get finished off as well. Godfrey still looking for one more. Clownface is going to get slowed, and is in the backline just jumping onto Delta Sniper. And actually, Delta Sniper able to trade one back, but it might be a bit too much already. It's just going to be one left alive as the entire team looking towards Clownface, and I'm sorry, Clownface, I don't think there's any way out. Blessed Shield even committed during that. I don't know if that came back up from the team fight or if that just wasn't needed during the team fight. But with that, Crit Kickers, they should have this domination. They will win 2-0. An extremely controlled game coming out of Crit Kickers as they're able to start catching up in this Division A. All right. And that is going to be the end of that game. Now, the Nazebo, Delta Sniper, and Clownface, they were able to deal so much damage during that game, but unfortunately, Crit Kickers were just able to bring it out in the top gear. They were just able to have the better plays, especially once they got that early lead. I only 40k damage, but with the towns, we can't see the stacks post-game, unfortunately, but was easily in the 50s. And that is a ton of bonus damage for a Falstad to have with the attack speed. Just difficult for them to play. So GG, Crit Kickers. You earned the domination. You earned the 2-0. Now, I'm going to see if we can get an interview. Give me one moment as I look into that and trying to get that set up. But yeah, if not, either thank you everyone for coming. It's still not necessarily not going to happen. I'm still just waiting to see if anyone is interested. I'll give them about 1 minute. And if they decide not to come, they decide not to come. Not much I can do about it. Bones wishing us you could have given us a better series. I think that game 1 was pretty close. Now I will admit game 2 definitely did not go the way I suspect you wanted, but I mean, it was still a decent series, and I appreciate the performance you had today, so don't worry too much about it, and I'm sure I'll be casting more of your games later this season. And we do have someone joining me. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Now, for everyone in chat, I am joined here by Icon, the healer from Crit Kickers. And congratulations on your domination against Magnitude Epicenter.
Oh, it was hard fought. A lot of scouting went into that, and yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, now, game 2, you had control for most of the game. Once you got that early lead, you were able to hold on to it. But game 1, that was really close, and you were definitely behind for a good chunk of that game. What do you think happened where you were able to bring it back?
Couple things happened. One, I had my daughter actually go to bed and stop climbing all over me, so I was able to play with two hands instead of one. Two, we just started like getting our heads out of our asses, essentially, and our butts. Um, and we started just focus firing the same targets, letting Infinity do her job, and making sure that our macro was back on point.
Yeah, I
It took
mean,
a few minutes.
yeah, but once you got that, Infinity was able to just absolutely one-shot members of the opposing team. Regardless of who it was, even the main tank Bones, you were able to just absolutely dominate them. Now, was there a specific moment where the team just kind of communicated, hey, like, we're starting to fall behind, we're playing a bit sloppy, we need to bring it back together? Was there any moment like that, or is it just kind of everyone knew that they had to do a little bit better and they were able to bring it back on their own?
It's early game for us. Zloth always takes a few minutes to warm up. He'll miss a lot in the beginning, but then he'll hit them all later on. Um, as I said, I had a little bit of issues going on. I play with the Razer Naga, so thankfully I was able to play with my right hand, but the keyboard was not accessible due to my daughter. Um, I made a stupid mistake and stepped out on the shrine and ended up getting picked. So I just needed to clean things up. Uh, but yeah, the communication was never really in doubt. It was just more like, "Hey, what are we doing?"
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Now, I believe this is your second domination for this season, if I'm
Yes,
not mistaken. I believe you've beat Can't Pause, Won't Pause, and lost to High Inquisitors?
yes.
Yes, okay. But now that you have two dominations under your belt, how do you feel going forward with the rest of Division A? How high do you think you can climb?
Um, I honestly don't know. Uh, we've been scrimming a lot, trying new things, trying to understand where our weaknesses is, and asking for feedback from other people, and getting some valid feedback. And we've taken it amongst ourselves to clean up a lot of the scenarios that were giving us trouble. Um, I think that we can go pretty far personally, but I'm not trying to pat my own back or our team's back. I think that we have a long way to go. There's a lot of good teams in this div. There's a lot of good players.
Yeah, well, you've definitely made a pretty good showing today, so hopefully you will be able to continue this momentum. And
If
now,
we keep playing the way we played on map 2, yes.
yes. And now, my final question I always ask everyone, is there any shout outs you'd like to do? Anything you want to say to your fans out there?
Shout out to you for casting. Um, Shout out to some of the heroic div teams who have given us the chance to scrim them, and have been willing to pick apart our gameplay and let us know what they exploit so that we can look to get better. Shout out to the my team. IE's an amazing captain. Um, Shout out to like Godfred and for just like Godfred is lost for being on the communication. I get to sit there and not say a word and just focus on healing because they have the comms covered. Um, Shout out to you for casting. I don't know if I said that before, but and all the casters and NGS for making this possible.
All right. Well, thank you. And I appreciate the thanks from you as well. And once
Yeah,
again, congratulations on your win and have a good night.
you too.
Bye. So with that, we will be ending things off here. There's no more NGS, so I'm not going to raid out. I will just, once again, like to thank you all and everyone in NGS for being able to hit 500 followers. 501 followers now. Absolutely blows me away. And big shout out to everyone who's already tried Tiki Solitaire Tri-Peaks. We've had 5 people download the game. If you want to be the 6th, link is down below in the chat and exclamation 3 peaks. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow as there will be another cast. I believe it is Div. Let me pull that out. Div D, Dragon Gall Z versus FC Hong Kong at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Hope to see you there and have a good night.